So here's a sample job announcement. It's not necessarily related to the accounting um, job, but I thought it was interesting that for this job announcement, it was asking for a number of things that I believe were are kind of related. So let's look at it for a minute. Student life coordinator, and this is within an academic context. And I thought it was interesting the way that the job announcement put the first sentence or the first bullet point: knowledge of the purpose of community colleges and the vision of Dallas College. So this is my college I work for. And so I decided to just take a job announcement. And the reason why I chose this one over, say, a accounting job announcement is simply because when you are applying to these organizations, they are looking for long-term commitment. They're not looking for one and done applicants. For entry level positions that are maybe 2 years or so, of course, they may sort of be tolerant of that. But when you get into positions that require some kind of supervising, management, or something like that, they care about your understanding and knowledge about, say, that organization, that field, that type of company, or whatever. That's why companies ask, is there anything, hiring professionals ask the job applicant, is there anything that you would like to ask us? And that requires, if you're going to ask a question, that requires you knowing about the company and what the company is doing, and it's specific to the type of job you are applying to. If you were applying to admissions, say for instance to become an admissions representative, it will be important that you know the main numbers. How many people are how many applications are usually submitted, how many people tend to be admitted into the institution, and how many come in with a certain GPA. What are the goals of the university in terms of admission, in terms of retention, those types of things. So that's information that you would need to know and understand the vision of that organization. Now, you can switch out Dallas College for Starbucks or for Microsoft or for Google, right? Understanding the purpose of that type of, technology or social media organization and the vision of that organization. Then, of course, you would need skills in technological support, delivery of student programs, use of Microsoft application software. You also need to be knowledgeable about student programs and the planning, because you would be the student life coordinator. There are also processes that require planning, researching, developing, implementing. This is a multitask environment, so you can't be the type of person who tells everybody, just wait. I get it when I get it. Some environments require you just to build the work ethic along the way, and you're going to have to work through your own emotions. Then you also have to understand that this is a job that requires you to travel, and you also need to be able to work with a diverse population that is both ethnic, culture, and social, as well as economically. So then we have a minimum in terms of educational requirements. You need just an associate's in the field. You need 3 years working with student clubs and organizations. You need to be able to work extended hours beyond 8 to 5 workday. You need administrative and leadership experience, a current driver's license, some advising experience with a student organization, working with diverse student and staff populations, excellent interpersonal skills, and you will have to sit for a criminal background check. That means you will need a fingerprint. And so that's why if you understood these types of things now, you would make sure your life stays on track. That's why this is important. This is not just important in terms of experience, but you don't want anything that can hinder you from having a job, for one, and that can hinder you from having a job that would allow you to move up the ladder. And so being able to come in with an application where you don't have to have a criminal background is just as important. I think if people spent more time reading up on the laws about criminal misbehavior, and how many years they can get as a result of doing something criminal, they may not do it. If I knew a person who is a burglar or a person who murdered someone or sold drugs, if I knew that I could get 25 years in prison for it, I wouldn't. There's no way in the world I would do that. But we all get into things because we don't know. We truly don't know. And once we get in, it's hard to get out in terms of making a decision to go somewhere else, because now you got a record. So that's why I put this here. It's not just to look at what is required of you 4 years from now, what might be required of you 4 years from now, but also look at, if you stay on the right track and you work hard to get to wherever you need to get to, you are less likely to get into a lot of silliness. And so then here you are managing, and this is a very important aspect of this particular job. So you manage and coordinate business details with clubs and department functions, including monitoring their budget, initiating contracts, negotiating with agents and performers, ticket sales, physical arrangements, maintaining associated records and reports, publicity, promotional materials, things like that, because whatever you are doing has to support the larger brand, which is the institution. So these are the individual things that you would have to do at this level. That means you are also developing learning outcomes as it relates to specific programs and events. You need to maintain assessments and evaluations, prepare long-range plans, projections for co-curricular, extracurricular programs. You are researching, reviewing, planning programs and events. You may drive students or staff members to meetings, functions, and events. You also prepare statistical reports. That's why that class in statistics is very important. And this is something that you can make a point of in your interview, that you stay abreast of statistical reporting. You take classes, you take courses, you complete them with a grade of A or something like that. You also need to be able to assist in the monitoring of assigned budget allocation. So you select, train, evaluate, assign staff. You may oversee student staff and identification card issuance, arranging weekend operations. So this is basically your life. And this is important if you ever wanted to get into the role of, director or managing director or anything like that, because this gives you a lot of managing experience. And then continuing education, in the same way as the accountant is required to complete continuing education hours, you would be required in this field, in this particular job, to complete professional development training hours. And this basically just helps you to improve your communication skills, work with, diverse internal, external stakeholders, constituents of the Dallas College Community Network. And then, of course, you would provide customer service.